Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will look at an introduction of accounting for investment. And what do investment gives us? If you invest in equity and stocks, it will give you ownership interest in the company. So we're looking to account for investments in equity. So how would a company record their investments when they invest in another company? So company A buys company B. Apple Computers buy some shares of Microsoft. Microsoft buy the shares of AT&T, so on and so forth. Which accounting method they use? How do they account for these investments? The first thing we want to know is it all depends on the degree of the investment. How much are we buying? How much in terms of ownership percentage? Are we buying 2% of the company? Are we buying 30% of the company? Are we buying 75% of the company? It all depends on that percentage. And based on that percentage, we will determine the category. And based on the category, we will record the accounting transaction. And this is what we will discuss in this session. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com.
My AI turns any lecture into a complete study system. You can create summary table, formulas, and example from each lecture. Flashcard builds from the lesson itself. A quiz build on the lesson, and as a bonus, convert any lecture into a portable short audio on the go. So it helps you with the retention. No noise, no generic responses, just clarity based on that specific lecture. Don't just watch, interact, test yourself, and retain the material using Farhat AI. Now go to farhatlectures.com now and see how the AI can help you understand, practice, and retain the material.
The first category is going to be between 0 and 20%. Now here's what I want to tell you about these percentages. These percentages are actually in the accounting literature. However, in the real world, just because you own between 0 and 20% or 20 to 25%, you always have to use this method. Exception do applies. So what I want you to know, exceptions do apply. What I want you to know is you have to look at the percentage, and if that's the only given thing, that's easy. If something else is given with it, we have to look at the context. But generally speaking, if you own between 0 to 20 to 25%, and notice 20 to 25, it could be up to 20, it could be up to 25. Nothing else, you would use what we called the fair value method or the cost method. What are we assuming under the fair value, and what's the fair value method? The first thing we look at is your level of influence. What does that mean? The assumption is this. If you own less than 20%, less 20 to 25. When I say 20, you always say 20 to 25, but I'm going to say less than 20%. If you own less than 20% of a particular company, we assume that you have no significant influence. In other words, you have no saying how this company is run. In other words, you have no power in voting, for example, someone on the board of directors that's going to give you influence in the company. The assumption is there's no significant influence unless in the problem you are told you do have influence. For example, the influence is showing by electing the board of directors. How would that happen? For example, you might own 15% of the company, but everybody else owns 1%. It means you are a majority owner. You can dictate your will on the company. But in the absence of that, if you own 15%, the assumption is you have no significant influence unless you are told otherwise. If you own less than 20% and you have no significant influence, remember it's a percentage, and I use the word no significant influence with importance, so you have to take it into account. Then what we have to do is we have to mark the investment to market. What does that mean? It means if you bought the stock and the stock went up in value, you would mark them to market. You will have what's called an unrealized gain. If that investment went down in value, you will have an unrealized loss. What else do you need to know? The unrealized gain and the unrealized loss are recorded on the income statement. They go through earning, and that's very important. So you are looking at 0 to 20% with no influence. Then you would use the fair value method, and the fair value dictate that you adjust your investment to market. Now, how do we do this? Don't worry, we're going to look at an example in the next session. This is an introduction. This is all what you need to know in this session is how to account. So 0 to 20% with no influence, fair value method. How about if you own more than 20 to 25 up to 50%? If you own that much, I'm gonna start to assume that you're getting the point. You have some sort of an influence here. You have specifically what we called significant influence. Think about it. If you own 30%, 40%, 49%, you have a strong influence. What does it mean, strong influence? You can show that by electing yourself as the board of directors, or you can impose who should be on the board of directors. It means you are technically running the company. If that's the case, the method that you will use is called the equity method. How do the equity method works? I'm going to show you the rule here, but we'll have a whole session about that, maybe a couple sessions. When you buy your investment, what's going to happen is this. You will ignore mark to market. So if the stock price, if the value of that company goes down, if the value of that company goes up or down, you would ignore that. So what does that mean? You keep it at cost? No. What you will do is you would look at the income that that company generated, or the loss for that matter, or income or loss, because the loss will decrease. So if you look at the income, and let's assume the company made $100,000 in income, and we'll work an example later on, and you own 30% of that company. What's going to happen is you're going to increase your investment by $30,000 by that income. And the opposite is true. If the company incurred a loss, you would reduce your investment by $30,000. So that's the general rule. Then if the company pays dividend, you would reduce your proportion of that dividend. Let's assume they paid $10,000 in dividend. You own 30%, you get $3,000. You would reduce your investment by that dividend. Why? We'll work on that later on, explain why that's the case. I don't want you to worry about this now. All what I want you to know, if you own between 20 to 25 up to 50%, we will use the equity method. You have what's called significant influence. Now, sometime you own that much and they may tell you have no influence. You have to take that into account. What would be an example of that? An exception. You own 40%, but your stocks are not voting. You cannot vote. If you are told that, but those are the exceptions. We're not talking about the exceptions. We're talking about the general rule. The general rule that you need to know is between 20 to 25 up to 50, you have significant influence. You account for the investment using the equity method. Okay, now we're up to 50%. How about if you have more than 50%, you have control. You have a controlling interest. If you have more than 50% of the company in your pocket, you own the company, you run the company, you control the board of directors. It means you control everyone. You have the majority. Now, under the consolidation method, which we're going to talk about a lot, you consolidate. You consolidate both companies together. So it's no longer an independent company. That company will be consolidated. 100% of the subsidiary assets, liabilities are consolidated. 100% of revenues and expenses are consolidated, even if you own 51%. That's it. You have absolute control. That's the assumption. Therefore, we will use the controlling interests. Now, when we say controlling interests, we account for 100% asset, liabilities, revenues, and expenses, but we'll make an adjustments later on. And this is the topic that we're going to have to cover much more in depth as we go along And again, this lesson is specifically for CPA exam candidate. For accounting students, we have a whole course called Advanced Accounting. We'll talk about consolidation. But this is for who? For CPA candidate. So more than 50% or variable interest entity. What's variable interest entity? We'll talk about that later. So sometimes you don't have to own more than 50%. You can own less. You can own 40% and have control, but you don't have to worry about this. We'll worry about this later on. We're only talking in percentages now. You own more than 50%. You have absolute control. Although it's not 100, but you consolidate as if you own 100% and will account for the subs, revenues, and expenses later on. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question to illustrate what we just learned about. An investor owns 22% of the company voting stock. Oh boy. So 22% is, if you remember, we said 20 to 25, we'll start to use the equity method. We're looking at 22%. Now this is a tough one because is this the equity method? Is this the, or is this not the equity method? Well, because 22%, it's in between. But let's take a look at what we are giving here. But another shareholder owns 70%. The investor has no board representation and no participation in decision making. If you are told 22%, and I said between 20 to 25, you start to use the equity method. So you're in between. What would you do? Generally speaking, if you are only told 22%, I would say you would use the equity method. But since we are told additional information, we have to look at the additional information. And the additional information clearly point out that we have no influence whatsoever in this company. What does that mean? Another shareholder owns 70%. So that shareholder controls every decision through the board. And we are told specifically, just to make sure, that you have no board representation and no participation in decision. What does that mean? It means when it comes to influence, you have no significant influence. You have no significant influence. This is where you are. If you have no significant influence, we will choose the fair value method. Notice this is a tricky question because in the absence of this additional information, you would use the equity method. Now, we could eliminate the consolidation because we don't own more than 50%, that you need substantial amount, more than half. How about the cost method? Fair value here is determinable. We're going to assume it's determinable because we're not told otherwise. So the cost method is inappropriate. The cost method is when there is no fair value. So unless you are told there is no fair value, you cannot use the cost method. Therefore, the fair value method is the correct answer choice here. It's between A and B. The correct answer is B because we lack significant influence. What should you do? On Farhat Lectures, every quiz comes with an AI that helps you explain the topic, explain the correct and incorrect answer, and help you create a similar MCQ if you want to practice this concept. What should you do now? Whether you are a CPA exam candidate, CMA, accounting student, the best investment you can make is invest in yourself. Go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional resources, multiple choice, simulations, true, false, exercises. Don't shortchange yourself. No one can take away your education, your skills, and God bless.